Hey there guys, Mighty Joe Muscle out here. Figured I'd do a short little video on my forearm routine I've been doing. A lot of people on the grip board's been asking about, and I thought it'd be better, or easier anyway, and more time efficient to do just a video instead of sitting at the keyboard typing for an hour trying to explain it. I'm going to do a little short run through of what I do. I'm not going to do the whole routine, but I am going to do everything I do and kind of explain it. And then I'll post it on the grip board and on my blog. So we're going to start with the warm-up. Prior to getting this Sidewinder wrist roller, I used a floor-mounted wrist roller, and what I did for my warm-up is just get a lot of blood flow in my forearms, wrists, and hands. And there's no faster way to do it than a wrist roller. So that's how I warm up. Here's how I do it when I actually do the forearm routine like this. You'll notice both of my thumbs are up. And then each progressive set as I go along, I just turn one turn and just keep going. And then without letting go, I turn it upside down. Now both of my thumbs are pointing down. And I do it like this. And by the way, this is really helpful for your elbows, especially if you have elbow issues like lack of mobility, lack of range of motion. And let me tell you, this right here, it'll really get you warmed up. Your arms, your hands, forearms. So that's what I do to warm up. Is I use some type of wrist roller, and like I said, the Sidewinder that I did a review on earlier today is what I'm going to use from now on to warm up. Then I go to a Terminator wrist handle. I got it mounted to a black Lifeline tube, which is 100 pounds of resistance. And then it's got this spring-loaded handle that you can see here. And thumbless. I never use a thumb in my forearm routine. I put my hand behind my back and I lean back and I try to use just my wrist and curl. And I do them slow, and I do quite a few. Usually I'll do 20. I'll switch, load the handle again, put my hand behind my back, and just try to use my wrist. Just like that. I'll do palm up, I'll do thumb up, and then on the next set I'll switch back, or sometimes I'll do 10 of each. Okay, that really gets the belly of your forearm. Okay, then to hit the top part, your brachioradialis and your brachialis right below the bottom of your bicep, which has a lot to do with the width of your forearm size. I take some dumbbells. They're not too heavy. These are like 25. I go up to like 35s, sometimes 40s. You're not after weight, because if you're after size, a lot of volume counts more than weight. And I'll do them like this. You can do these with an easy curl bar too. And I'll keep the reps high. And what I'm doing is this. I'm doing my wrists like this. I'm flexing them. Trying to keep my elbows at my sides, and I'm just doing this. It will blow your forearms up. So I do that. Remember, you're after volume, so you're after high reps. There's a different approach when you're trying to get just size versus strength. Okay? So I'm just going over what I'm doing to try to reach my 14-inch goal. That's what I'm trying to do, get a 14-inch forearm. Next thing I do, I used to use these in arm wrestling training. I got this strap. It's actually an axle strap. that they use, that tow truck drivers use, but it's awesome for arm wrestling training. But it's also good to hook onto a weight peg. I've got 30 pounds here, and I'll put it on my hand like this. Now let's go get the brachioradialis again. I'll get like this, and I'll keep the range of motion short, and you can feel it. I'll do both hands. I'll just keep my hand open. And keep in mind, when you're doing a routine for size that has a lot of volume involved, you can't keep the weight, you can't get the weight too heavy, because if you do, your joints and ligaments won't be able to recover in time. Just like this. I'll take 5 pounds off, and I'll go through this whole routine 3 to 5 rounds. Depends on how I feel that day, how much sleep I got that night, how hot it was at work. Just depends on a lot of things, mainly on how you feel. And then, the main reason I'm doing this video is to explain a term and a technique that the old timers used to use. It's called muscle cramping or muscle spinning. Sigmund Klein was just famous for this. John Grimmick did it a lot. I learned about it from Harry Pascal's book called Muscle Molding, and it's crazy how it works. You can do it every single day, this muscle cramping, and you can't injure yourself. I don't think you can overtrain your forearms. Now you can the joints, which that's a whole other subject, but the actual muscles of the forearms, I think it's nearly impossible to overtrain them. But muscle cramping is simply taking your hand like this, and you flex your wrist, just like you was going to do a gooseneck. But instead of straightening your wrist every time, just keep it flexed and bring it in like that. And experiment with your elbow positioning, and you'll feel it cramp. You're not doing this. I mean, yes, that causes a pump, but you're looking for a cramp right there. And it's nearly unbearable. Right when it cramps, try to go another 2 seconds. Relax. There's the cramp. Some people get it with their arm vertical, some totally horizontal, just experiment with your elbow and upper arm position, and you'll feel it cramp. There it is. It should hurt. It should feel like when you're on the verge of dehydration, like your calf will cramp. It's the same way. Right there. That's called muscle cramping. You can do it with your biceps too, but the biceps is easy. You just flex it and you'll feel it. You bring your elbow towards your neck, your bicep towards your neck, and your bicep will cramp, especially right at the top part of the attachment. And again, you just hold it. But being we're talking about forearms, you just cramp them up. You don't have to make fists. You'll notice my hands are open and I'm really contracting my wrist like this. Okay? Wrist flexion. And golly, it just knots up. So, for review, I warm up with some type of wrist roller. Okay? Usually like this. If you have a floor mounted one, I would suggest instead of rolling it up and down, just grab it, get in position, and just rotate it up and down. Use your wrist to make it come up and down. That's good. There's no sense in sitting there having to do this, but if all you have is the wrist roller with the wood and the string attached, that's fine. It's still a good way to roll it up and to create blood flow and get heat in your forearms and your joints for warming up.